We are so excited to be here at MoteCon today. I know I speak for both of us when there are so many topics that we would love to talk about when it comes to Mote, but we're especially excited that we get to talk about saving time, because if you're like us, we just started school. If you're a teacher in general, there's never enough time in the day. And these time-saving tricks, we hope, are as beneficial to you as they've been to us. So we're really excited to share with you.
We actually present Mote all the time together. We are, in fact, on the same instructional technology team, but we're also friends. So we love being able to use Mote in our personal lives for our teacher gifts, and we're going to share a ton about you, but then just saving ourselves and our teachers' time is amazing. So my name's Jordana Kaiser. I'm an instructional technologist in Northwest ISD. I've actually been doing this role since before I even moved over to Northwest. I'm from California, so if we have any California people, huge shout out to you guys. I'm super happy to be here and excited to share with you at MoteCon.
Yeah, and my name's Brittany Horn. Once again, same team, friends. So shout out to the instructional technology team in Northwest. It's the dream team. But this is my 14th year in education. I started out teaching high school English, but we are living the same life because we both started secondary. And now, well, Jordana is still secondary, but the elementary world has won me over. So I'm at 6 elementary campuses, and the elementary world has just, rocked my world. This is year 10 as an instructional technologist.
So we have shared with you on this screen our tiny URL of all of our slides for today. So if you want to go to tinyurl.com/MoteMagic, you'll be able to get all these goodies, these amazing templates, and just have them on hand when you want to save some time in your life.
I am excited to share some Mote magic when it comes to using Mote in Google Slides and Google Docs for audio supports and for student creation, in Google Forms, and then also for feedback and a little bit in mail. So let's dive in. I don't want to overlook the power of simple audio supports or audio instructions. How many times as a teacher have you thought, man, if I could just clone myself? You find yourself repeating directions or telling a guest educator or somebody else in the room what your kids are going to be doing. And Mote allows you to leave that personal voice for students to listen back to over and over again. So on this slide, you'll see an example of audio instructions in Google Docs and then also in Google Classroom. And I want you to notice the real power of Mote is that students can even translate those instructions into their primary language. I actually just met with a teacher last week who has a student who speaks only French. He just moved in. And so this has been really powerful for all her students, but especially for that student. So we're going to go ahead and look at this in Docs. In order to add that audio recording, I'm going to highlight the text that I want to add audio to and then click the Add Hypermote button. Okay. And then you're simply going to record your instructions. So you're going to tell them a little bit about what they're going to do, what you want them to do, expectations, maybe what they'll do when they're done. And click done. And you're going to see that this is not only linked in, but a really cool card pops up so that they can see the transcriptions, play, and even translate. And you could edit that transcription if needed. I think I've seen audio supports used the most in Google Slides. Our teachers use Google Slides a lot, and I want to share 3 examples. This bottom example is a 2nd grade teacher. She was actually pulling small groups, but she needed everybody else to work independently. And they know when they see that purple speaker icon that that is their teacher leaving them instructions. So, so cool to see even 2nd graders being able to work independently because the teacher is able to voice in the instructions and the expectations. The picture next to this is a nonfiction article, but it's an interactive activity. So you'll notice the 1, 2, 3, 4, those are actually motes. You can change that purple speaker icon to be any image that you want to just by right-clicking and then doing replace image. So they were able to click on the numbers to listen to the text read aloud and continue on with their activity. And then the top slide, shout out to Mr. Baruman. He's a secondary teacher in our district who uses Mote really well. And I don't know if he had a guest educator on this day, but I do notice the students were going to be working independently on these slides. So if he did have a guest educator, it's so nice because they can hear from the teacher himself what they're supposed to be doing, or even if there was somebody else in the room supporting, but they would know the expectation and they could work through independently during class. And we know there's a lot of power in having the teacher's personal voice, the students getting to hear their teacher. With that said, you don't always have time to record your personal voice, especially if you have a big chunk of text, or if you're really just wanting to create a text-to-speech opportunity and just don't have time to voice that in. So one of Mote's latest upgrade allows you to generate motes based on text, and I'm going to demonstrate how this works. Okay, so I'm going to click the Mote recorder right here. And then this time I'm going to choose generate. Notice I have already copied these instructions, but this can be any text that I've copied. I'm going to paste it in. Okay, here's my correct text here. I'm going to paste that in and I'm going to click generate. And then you can see that it's going to take that text and turn it into a really nice mote that I can insert on the slide. I can move it around anywhere I want to. And what I love about this is in Northwest ISD, we're one-to-one Chromebooks, and there are built-in select to speak and dictation features. With that said, students have to go in and enable those features, and then they have to make sure to use those features. And I just know that they're underutilized. However, when there's a purple speaker icon or just that audio text to speech right in front of them, they're more apt to use it and reap the benefits of it. So I really like how easy this is for the teacher, but also for the students to use as well. Okay, if you're not loving the Mote magic so far, I think you'll really like these time-saving tips in Google Forms. One of Mote's latest updates is there's a button that will allow you to turn your entire Google form into a form that can be read aloud. So it's that text to speech button. So you can see here, in the past, we would have used Mote to record the question using our voice and then record each individual answer choice. Now with just the click of a button, the entire form can be read aloud. So this is how it works. You click the Mote extension and then turn on that text to speech feature. You won't see it here, but when you go to preview, check out all of these different places. Every single place there's a question that can be played aloud for the students. I also love that you can turn it on and off based on each form. So if you want to have a copy of a form that's oral admin or read aloud, and then a copy of the form that's not, super easy to turn on, to turn off, and it just happens within seconds. Another way that I find Google Forms great for saving time is building relationships. We know that building relationships is key to students feeling comfortable, for students learning. If they respect the teacher and they have a connection with the teacher, they are much more willing to learn from that teacher. But it takes a lot of time, especially if you have 25 students, but maybe even 50. Maybe you have 7 periods a day, and it's really hard to get to know your students and remember those super special things about them. So this is a Google form that's a two-way street. So you'll see a little bit about the teacher. Students can play that back. They can hear the teacher's voice, and then they can even listen to some of the things the teacher likes. Maybe it's that they have a similar hobby, or they like the same restaurant and the same food. And then the student's going to fill this out. I love that the first question is to record their name, because I don't know how many times a student has told me their name, and then I'm like, oh, how did they pronounce that? But I don't want to say the wrong thing for the rest of the year. What's awesome is I will have this sheet for the entire year. So if I ever forget how to pronounce that name, I can come back to the sheet, play it back, and then I will remember how to pronounce that student's name. But same with what they enjoy. So this form says, are you involved in any activities? What do you like to do outside of school? What are you most excited about this year? And when I'm in the sheet, I can hover over each Mote and I'll see that card with the transcription, or I can play it out loud. And I can even, if the student maybe recorded it in a different language, I could even translate that for myself so that it breaks down that barrier and I can understand what the student is saying. This is a template, so feel free to snag this template and use it for yourself. I think it's a really great resource, especially starting back to school. If you like the Google Forms template, you might also like this slides template as well. This one just breaks down a little bit of that, especially for younger students. They might not know what they enjoy or what they did this summer. And so it connects with emojis. So every student can find an emoji that they connect with, and then they use Mote to kind of expand on those emojis. You can see some of our teachers in our district, shout out Miss Ball, used this last year, and it was a really good way for her to get to know her students. So you can see, once again, they say their name. So you have that pronunciation. 2 emojis to represent what they enjoy. So they drag those in, they use Mote to talk about it, and then they drag the Mote to that circle icon. You are more than welcome to customize this template by changing out emojis. Maybe the age of your kids is a little bit different. whatever you think that your students would like. You could even change the questions. But this is a template that you can take and customize. So feel free to grab a copy just by clicking on this image. All right. I think the biggest time saver with Mote is feedback. And I have to stop and give a little shout to the Mote Learning Zone. This is a great place for teachers to get inspired because there are so many posts and examples of how to use Mote in different content areas for different grade levels and for all different topics. So 2 of the articles there we're going to talk about a little bit today. One of them is how to give better feedback in less time. And the other is on-the-go feedback with the Mote iOS app. So I'm excited to talk about these, but make sure you check out the other ones on the Mote Learning Zone as well. And before diving into those 2 topics, I want to just remember the value of a simple voice comment. So this could be commenting on student work, but this is an example of a lesson plan. I find that our teachers enjoy using Mote in lesson plans because they can communicate with a team or I guess educator or anybody that's going to be delivering the lesson. And I love this quote from Psychology Today. It says, people are more sensitive to tone than the explicit content of spoken or written language. And Mote really allows you to avoid confusion by speaking and providing that encouraging, positive tone. When people just see instructions, they don't really know, but whenever you're able to use your voice, it clears up a lot of confusion, and it's just such a good resource. All right, so saving time and feedback. This is Miss Sproles, a 5th grade teacher. She's amazing, but she's grading essays here. And as a previous English teacher, I know that grading essays takes a lot of time because you're leaving lots of notes. You're trying to convey everything you want the student to get from, and you want them to know that you've really read their work after their hard work. I also know one of the worst things is to mark up an essay with a bunch of red ink. The student sees the red ink, they're immediately defeated, and they really don't take much from the feedback. So Mote allows the student to hear their teacher's encouragement, hear their voice, but also take their constructive feedback as well. So in the private comments, she just left a Mote here that the student can play back and really take the feedback from the teacher. Now, one of the best ways to save time is to utilize the Mote book. So you'll notice if you long press on the Mote icon, it will pull up the Mote book, and these are saved Motes. So you know that as a teacher, if I'm grading 100 essays, I'm probably going to find myself repeating some of the same feedback. Even though it's personalized, I bet more than one student forgot to cite their sources or forgot to add good transition words or forgot to use good punctuation. So I can have Motes in my Mote book that I can reuse for different students who need that feedback. So we're going to show how this works. You can see that when I edit my transcript of a Mote, I'm going to go ahead and click that star to add it to my Mote book. And I can give it a title so it can easily be used again. And then on my next Mote, I long press. It's going to pull up my Mote book. I can search or just find alphabetically. And then it's like that student has personal feedback of me saying that same voice note without me needing to re-record again. So really big time saver for teachers. And it allows you to give personal feedback that's also timely and specific. All right. I love this quote by John Hattie. Students want personalization. We know, for example, when teachers give feedback to the whole class, every kid knows it's not about them and they tune out. And ideally, as teachers, we want to leave feedback in the walls of our building. We don't want to do this outside of school, but the reality is you're probably going to end up grading some papers while you're at a soccer game or you're waiting in your car for your kids to get done with some kind of rehearsal, or you're in the doctor's office. So you can be looking at your students' work, and with the Mote iOS app, you can actually record a quick voice note and it will automatically copy that voice note so it can be pasted in classroom. So you can see here, I'm going to review my students' work. I'm kind of looking through what they turned in, and then I'm going to toggle over to that Mote app. I'm going to record my feedback for the student. And it's going to be automatically copied to the clipboard so that I can come back just by toggling over to Google Classroom and paste in. And they still have that Mote card that can be translated and listened back to. So great for on the go. Maybe you even have a student that just turned in late work and you want to give them personal feedback without going back to your computer. It's right there and you've got it handy with the Mote app. All right, Jordana's going to talk a little bit more about Mote Mail because there's a lot of power in just simply using Mote in email. But these are some ways to provide automatic mail using an extension called Autocrat in Google Sheets. Here's 2 templates for inspiration. They can obviously be customized, but what we have here is a positive parent email template. So this is set up so that the teacher can make positive contact with each parent in a timely way. We know that's so important at the beginning of the year for parents to feel seen and heard and know that you really have connected with their child. So in a Google Sheet, or you can even have a Google form that feeds into a Google Sheet, you can leave the student a Mote and just copy in that Mote link that you have from the extension, and it's going to automatically pull it into this template here. So this one says, I'm proud of Brittany, and this is why. You can actually in Autocrat set that up as a link so that it's clickable and they can listen to it right on the page. So simply by filling out that form and adding a Mote, all these emails will be automatically sent to parents. I don't then have to make the document. I don't have to send the email. Autocrat does all that for you. And these templates are linked in, but also on that Mote Learning Zone, a full tutorial is linked in, and we'll show you how to do this. Maybe you're a coach or an administrator. This walkthrough template is the same thing, but maybe you're walking through a classroom and you just want a teacher to have that instant feedback and to feel good about your time in their room. This is a walkthrough template you could use as well. All these are customizable. And then as we kind of enter into fall, Thanksgiving will be here before we know it. This is another form that is set up with Autocrat where students can show their gratitude. It could be teachers too, but there was a 4th grade class at one of my campuses that did this over Thanksgiving, and the student actually went in, they shared a teacher's email, they recorded a Mote of something they were thankful for, either a teacher or an adult or a family member. And what was cool is just so many emails were going out with positive communication that included Motes. So can you imagine being like a parent or a teacher and getting an email from a student just expressing their gratitude is just so, so powerful, and something that teacher or parent could hold on to. What's also cool is this was a bilingual campus. So a lot of the students would record in Spanish, but if the teacher wanted to listen to it in English, they could. Or if the student recorded in English at school, but their family was Spanish speaking, the family could then play that back in Spanish. So a great way to break down barriers and just a really, really fun way to use Mote. And as a reminder, all of these templates and all of these resources can be found at tinyurl.com/Mote Magic.
I am so excited to share with you our next portion of Mote Magic. We are going to be talking about some of my favorite things to save time and really just maximize impact with all users, whether it's your students or your parents, just making Mote accessible for everyone through QR codes and sticky notes and links. It is some of my favorite stuff, and I feel like these are just some of the hidden gems of Mote. So first and foremost are my favorite Mote QR codes. We use these QR codes for everything. Like we talked about earlier, Britt and I love to use them in our personal lives, for our students, for our own kids, to give teachers thank you notes. And we just really love to stick these QR codes on anywhere, because I'm not sure if you know this or not, but Mote does not have to be a program that someone has on their phone or their computer to be able to listen to it. Everyone has the opportunity to listen to a Mote that you send them. So if you're looking at this screen, you'll see that I have our Mote QR codes popped up in all of these images. This is just a personal Mote for me, introducing myself as my instructional technologist. We love using Mote to encourage people. So whether it is an office admin gift that you're dropping off some coffee and just want to thank them for all that they're doing for the campus, or if you're my son and you're saying, thank you for helping me grow, Miss Eccles, he can just put that little voice recording on a card, and his teacher will have those memories to last for years to come. Some other ways that we can use Mote QR codes are in the classroom, and this is really such a time saver and a great entry point for students to be able to take ownership of their learning in a way that anyone who comes into the classroom gets to hear from the students. The students can quickly record the Mote either on their own device, or if you'll see in this picture, this first grade student is recording it with his teacher on her laptop. And they recorded him talking about his favorite book, why that was his book of the month. And she simply took each QR code of every single student, downloaded it, and printed them off. So you'll notice on their reading wall, She has a picture of the student, their QR code, and anyone doing a learning walk can come through, listen to those students, and hear what they have to say. So this QR code template is really just such an amazing tool that once you click open that Mote QR code template link, it will look like this, and you will be able to simply click the button, use template, and you will have this template ready for you to use at any moment. I would honestly bookmark that template link to your bookmarks bar and then just make a new template in Google Slides every time you're going to use it. Title it what you're using it for this time. So we'll say that she was using it for her reading wall, and every time that the student would record on that teacher's device, she would come over here to the Mote and it would download to her downloads. Now, when you are using Mote and you record something, it is automatically going to record. Press the check as you've seen before, and we're going to press share and press this QR code. Every time you record a Mote, it generates your own QR code for every single recording. So they are specific to that recording. You press save, it'll download quickly, and you can just drag and drop it into the box and have a perfect QR code. We can say that this was Johnny's response, and then you just do it for each of the responses for all your students. It's an easy to print one-page template, and you simply print it with students' names, their QR code, and you can cut and put them on their desks, or you can put them on your reading wall, wherever you want those QR codes. Something that I really love about these QR codes in this template is teachers can easily record their own responses for how students are doing in class. So think about back to school night or open house. You can leave a quick Mote voice note for every single student in your class, put it on their back to school night folder or taped on their seat in their desk so parents can see where their students sit. As you're talking to another family, that parent that's waiting to talk to you can scan the QR code and hear from you in that moment. Like, what a time saver that they are using their time wisely. They still get to hear from you immediately, and it's personal feedback for their own student. So just using this template in the classroom for lots of different things, we absolutely love this template right here. Something else you can do with QR codes is using it to introduce yourself at Meet the Teacher, or maybe, like I said, at Back to School Night. If you want to send this home in their folders, you can have all your information, all your favorite things, and then you could attach a note introducing who you are and tell them a little bit about your background and what you love. So just putting those QR codes anywhere is really helpful. We'll talk about QR codes in a little bit when we look at sticky notes, but I just really think QR codes are this amazing hidden gem of Mote. Next, we're going to talk about minimizing your time with sticky notes. I love sticky notes. They are relatively new. What a sticky note is in your Mote dropdown, you can toggle on record on URL, and whatever website you are on, you can simply record a Mote recording on the website, telling them what you love about this website, what you think is amazing about this website, or just pointing people in the right direction. Right here is an example of a resume. Think about a student. I taught seniors in high school. They were preparing for going out into the real world, going to college, going into the workforce. If they put a QR code on their resume, just like we talked about you doing for their teacher, not only could that QR code tell their employer or their the application committee about who they are, but that could take them to the link of maybe their online digital portfolio and really just make that connection and put a face with the name. It could take the learning so much further. So we love sticky notes. In the secondary level, think about having a reference sheet at the end of a research project, even in elementary. If students included a URL saying this is the website I went to. They could even leave a sticky note explaining why this was a credible source, maybe why this wasn't a great website to use or what they got from the website. So just really using these sticky notes to record on the URL is super helpful and quick and easy to use. If students are already on the website, if they just click the Mote dropdown, they could record maybe a 30-second recording explaining their why, taking ownership of their learning once again using Mote, and just taking it to the next level. We love Mote links. Every time you record a link or record a Mote, the link copies to your clipboard. So thinking about how you would use that, this teacher uses the link in his newsletter. Shout out to Gabe in Northwest ISD. Gabe is just an amazing teacher who really thinks through how he can make things more accessible to his parents and students. So you'll notice that the link is just hyperlinked right here. What Gabe did is he recorded his voice reading his newsletter. What a time saver for parents. Parents are on the run. They're going to soccer practice and to dance and picking up kids and driving back and forth, some of them working, and they don't always have time to read a newsletter, but they very well could press play and listen to a newsletter. I think this is just an amazing way to use links within Mote. You can also use it in Mote Mail. Whitney talked about maybe sending this email, and when Britt did it, she inserted a link. Now, with this link, someone could scan the QR code, but if you're on your phone, you can't scan a QR code. So Britt made this really accessible. She can click the link, and anyone reading this email can also listen to this email. Now, that mail is an amazing feature because what Mote does that I think cannot get talked about enough is it can translate it in any language. So though teachers may send a Mote in English, a parent, a student could translate it in any way that they want. Now, if you look up here, the English, you can click on that button, choose your language, choose French, and all of a sudden a purple icon will appear for a teacher to send this to a parent. The parent can press play on this purple icon, and not only will it play in French, but it translates the speech to text to French as well. Talk about accessibility for students and parents alike. This is an amazing feature that I think really just sets Mote apart from any other tool we've ever seen out there in education, and really at all. This feature allows people to still have the content and hear it in their original language. Here, they can press this big purple button, but they can make it to where there's not a barrier to entry by listening to it in their native voice. So we are going to talk a little bit about feedback in LMS. We've been talking this whole time about how to give students feedback, how to give parents feedback, how to just make it accessible for people. But when you're grading, there's something so important about using your tone of your voice to be able to inflect what you're really trying to say. So words are great, but I know Mote says type more, speak less, type less, speak more. And that's really, I think, where teachers can take it to the next level, giving feedback. And the way we can do that is through Google Classroom, like Britt mentioned earlier. Anywhere you can see a purple circle with an M, you can record a voice recording. We talk about it all the time, but once you get this Chrome extension, Mote will infiltrate your life in the best possible way. So in Google Classroom, leaving a Mote to give assignment instructions, making sure that you can leave a private comment on student work. Now, you can also do this in Canvas SpeedGrader. So what I want to show you really quick is in Canvas SpeedGrader, you'll notice a little purple Mote icon that shows up at the bottom of this Once you open SpeedGrader, you'll see this purple Mote icon. Now, if you click on it and it starts recording immediately, it gives you 5 minutes to record any of your Motes. I think that's a really great feature of Mote because honestly, no one wants to listen to a voice recording for more than 5 minutes. But once you're done, you can simply press the purple check. And once you submit that response, it will come through as speech to text. Students, parents can play this, and students could also use that exact same feature, click on the American flag, translate it back to French, and now listen to your response, your feedback in French, read it in French, but then that original language you speaking to them is still right here. It's just such a cool tool within Canvas SpeedGrader that we're super happy. I hope you had a great time with us. You feel like you are equipped to save time, to just maximize your impact. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out, but there are amazing resources for you on YouTube. Watch those Mote Minutes videos. They are quick, they're easy, and they're immediately applicable. Brittany does a lot of these videos. They're awesome. You can also go to the Mote Learning Zone, and there's amazing lesson plans and templates there. And once you dive into that and you are hooked on Mote, we'd love for you guys to become a Mote certified educator. If you are an educator, I don't know if you caught the Easter egg that we put in there, but on the sticky Motes, we had it on Torchy's Tacos. Do you guys know that if you're an educator and you show your teacher badge at Torchy's, you get a free queso? Sometimes it's half, sometimes it's full. We definitely take Torchy's up on that free queso for educators. We're a big fan.
All right. Well, we are wrapping up this Mote Magic. We hope that you really enjoyed all these tips. Remember, you can go to tinyurl.com/Mote Magic to grab those templates and to see the tutorials. If we went too quick, you can have this for reference. I know Jordana and I, we've led a lot of Mote trainings together, but we were just so excited for the first time to do one simply on time saving. So it was our first time to deliver the content. We hope it was beneficial. We also hope that you'll take advantage of all the MoteCon sessions because there are some amazing educators sharing some awesome resources, and it's been a joy being with you guys today.
Thanks for coming.